I've never really, maybe one time in that situation, but a little bit more of my lore, I'm usually the villain in other people's stories. I've been thinking about it, and most of the time when I have conflicts, I'm the villain. So I usually win. Why wouldn't you want to be the coach who coached the person who averaged more than Michael Jordan?
So he tells a story about a guy who was like, they didn't like Jordan the way he did things there because he made things a big deal about him, I guess. And so they didn't appreciate that, and they didn't want anybody else to come here and think, oh, they can be the next Jordan or whatever. So I think that was a large part of it.
Jealous of your big that's it. That's literally that's at the foundation of the thing.
So if you're in a relationship and say like, my homeboy talked to your homegirl, and something happens between them and it doesn't turn out ideal, am I supposed to now beef with my homeboy because he did X, Y, and Z to your homegirl? I'm just asking.
It's the football and sports and stuff are a little like too parallel to like slavery.
I understand that, but once
like
they start
the draft and like
some people are really upset because I played golf and flew to the White House with the president in all caps. Maybe I just respect the office. Not a hard concept to understand.
Oh my God, get the out of here. There's somebody like doing a whole PR campaign against this woman.
So before I do, I want to just read some of the headlines that's been talked about this. So this is from Black Sports Online. Bill Belichick's girlfriend, Jordan Hudson, has amassed a $9 million real estate assets since they started dating. Previously, she was a cosmetologist, so questions arise. Where does she get this cash from? Hudson says she is the COO of Belichick Productions.
That is a smart lady. Ma'am, you run it up, get your bag, set yourself up. Okay, so he's about to.
This is just my team growing up, the Commanders. We was the last team to let black people play.
Y'all were also just the Redskins.
The president had to say, like, can you put on the team, please?
Please.
My dad is around Bill Belichick's age. And if I was to see him with a woman of this age.
Younger than me?
That would be the flyest in the world, yo. I ain't gonna lie. That would be fly. I couldn't hate on my pops if he was out here with a young thing, you know, at that age.
We would just be having to make sure that he's not changing no paperwork up. I wish that this went a little bit better, like aesthetically and stuff, because I am a very big fan of black nepotism.
He didn't play along. He didn't do a lot of the things that a player of his caliber should have had to do.
He didn't shuck and jive for the white man.
See, no, and that's what I hate that we keep trying to. I know you're joking, but people are really saying that. And that did this week, or Shedeur did that last week, or why isn't Shedeur in the game? Like, these are going to be conversations that's going to be had. And if you're the starter, now you have Deion Sanders, a legend, coming at you. And to just be honest, my personal opinion, Shedeur just wasn't that good.
This podcast is sponsored by Graffiti Tax Services. For all your tax preparation needs, you can go to graffititax.com. We're going to put the link right here. It should be somewhere. And yeah, you can head to them for during tax season. And if you have any financial or tax preparation questions, head to Graffiti Tax Services. They're our new sponsor. Thank you to Graffiti Tax Preparation Services. That's it.
Your whole life is revolved around talking about other people's lives.
What the fuck do you think your ass is doing on that podcast
Rocky.
now?
All right, so there's been a battle in this household.
Let me tell y'all the story. The other day, no, but like about like a week ago.
Yeah, it was a week ago.
Yeah. So, this man leaves his shoes all over the place. I look at the shoes. I'm like, when did you leave these shoes here? When did you wear these shoes?
They weren't all over the place. They were right by the door.
He leaves his shoes all over the place. So I'm like, when did you wear these shoes? He goes the other day. I'm like, that's very vague. Tell me specifically when you wore these shoes, because I wanted to know how long these shoes had been sitting here. He goes, last night. I was like, last night, the other day? Last night does not fall within the other day's time span.
That's not true. That's not true at all.
If you tell somebody the other day, they're not going to assume you meant literally last night. Nobody is going to assume you meant last night. So we got into a whole heated debate about it.
Because she doesn't want to understand syntax, the simple syntax.
Semantics.
Yeah.
semantics versus what? Pragmatics? Like, so I put a poll on my story, right? And then let me pull it up. So the I put a poll up on my story because I'm extra and I wanted to know the people's opinions. So I explained the whole thing, and 93% of the people voted in agreement with me, and then 7% voted with him. So it was 38 votes versus 3 votes.
Which that doesn't mean anything because we grew up in the No Child Left Behind era. So of course, you know, it can be expected that folks aren't going to be familiar with the vague use that can be the other day. And
listen, it's just like, how is it used generally amongst people? Because there's no like.
Was not the conversation though. Our conversation was the other day can't be yesterday.
It can't be. I'm still standing on that.
I showed you. I even
the
went
other day
to
can't be. And then so which was hilarious. So I tell him that the poll, because we put it up like at night. The next morning before I leave for work.
It wasn't on the Talk
I
FNF
put it
page.
whatever. And then the next morning I wake up before I go to work. I tell him what the votes were. Right, that's like at 10:30. He texts me at 12 noon. And then he sends me a screenshot of him Googling, can the other day mean yesterday? And then AI overview goes, yes, the other day can sometimes mean yesterday, but it's more common to mean the day within the recent past, but not necessarily the day before.
So it did say
and
yesterday,
then there's another little thing that means the next day or preceding day or whatever. And I was like, this man literally physically cannot stand not being right.
That's not true.
Like literally, the other day cannot mean last night. If you tell somebody I did this the other day, why would you not just say last night if last night was last night?
Because last night could be yesterday, there's a different word. We have different words to call things. So don't act like it's crazy in the English language that we have 12 different ways to say things.
It's crazy in the Black American colloquialisms. It's crazy to use it that way because that's just not how we used it, and it was just really interesting.
But I was still correct and accurate.
Let us know how y'all feel. Like if somebody says I did this the other day, does last night fall within? I don't think last night falls within the other day.
It definitely should.
There's a lot of ass here. You see BBLs at your local grocery store, parks, theaters, but it's really distracting and no one's really paying attention to the skinny girls. So I've been shoplifting like a motherfucker. I wait until a fat ass gets in front of me to go to self-checkout and not ring up a thing. Thank you.
Let's introduce the show. All right, you are now listening to Talk FNF TV. I'm your host, Absurd Rhetoric, and I'm with my lovely and amazing and gorgeous and phenomenal co-host, Miss Farrah.
Hi, guys. I feel like I kind of did my bang a little bit too side part because I feel like I look like, because tonight will be the night that I will fall for you.
You haven't gone that far
like, yet. Jesus Christ.
Your colors, you got too many colors. You got sparkles on. There's no way you could be
Everything
emo
is
right now.
green. It's not too many colors. It's coordination. You got to coordinate.
All right, so let's get into, we got some topics we got to get into, man. Some issues in the podcast world. We got to go back to Gil's arena. So first off, I want to say I'm glad that, Gil's son is okay. He had that crazy accident in his Tesla. He did survive, and he's doing really good. They say he's out of the hospital now.
That's good.
Gil still hasn't been on the show, but the team has still been doing their thing. It's
holding it down.
It's good to have a cast that can, manage when the guy isn't there.
Mm-hmm.
They can still manage content and all that.
Has the content been good? Have you been enjoying it just as much?
Mm-hmm. I was actually pretty surprised too. And then they can even manufacture their own kind of like beefs and conflicts independent of Gil.
That's good.
So I do want to bring this up because there's a guy on the show. We talked about him before the last time we talked about Gil's arena. His name was Rashad McCants. Mm-hmm. He's a former guard from the University of North Carolina. He won a national championship with them. And he's kind of getting riled up in some conflict with his some of his teammates and fellow alumni. So one thing about Rashad McCants, and I kind of just want to do a little summary of his career. He came out, he was expected to be a top player. He was a lottery pick, went to the Minnesota Timberwolves, didn't really, pan out. He had another opportunity in the Sacramento Kings, and then that was pretty much where his career was. He was like notably he like dated Khloe Kardashian. Like that was kind of like his kind of claim to fame, and it kind of also ruined his career because it made people be able to assume like, oh, he wasn't about basketball or whatnot. That wasn't like his priority. So that was kind of like the label that stuck with him for most of his career. So when he came out later on, and this was probably about a few years ago, may have been 10 years ago, I don't know now, but he came out and he exposed the University of North Carolina for like fraudulent classes, basically saying like if you played on the basketball team or whatever, you got to get special classes that made sure that you were going to pass and it didn't challenge you and you really didn't get a college education. And that was like a big deal, and it kind of put a black mark on him in regards to him in the university, because it was like you exposed like the common secret that everybody knew. Everybody knew college athletes are getting these kind of preferential treatment. Yeah. But you went out and said something about it, and you know that delegitimizes all the people on the team in regards to what they could have acquired. You know,
everyone who
if they don't play basketball,
all of the athletes who went to that school in general.
I mean, yeah, but he was mostly just talking about the basketball in his article that came out about it. And so since then, he had always rubbed a lot of the, you know, UNC guys the wrong way. And so as it's this other podcast called, I think it's To the Baja, and it has Theo Benson and Raymond Felton. And Raymond Felton actually played on that national championship team with Raymond Felton. Excuse me, with Rashad McCants. All these guys got R's in their name. And so Rashad just did an interview where he was talking about a lot of it. And he was bringing up some of the stuff that happened, and they reacted to it. And they was violating. So I want to play a couple clips of it, and then I want to play Rashad's response to it. But it was wild. Like they had one point where Raymond Felton was dissing Rashad McCants to the ether beat. Like they played the ether beat in the background.
They were going off.
And they was frying this nigga up, calling him a loser, calling him all sorts of shit. It was embarrassing, but I have Theo Benson. Like I said, he's a former
nigga. Because at the end of the day, when you go to Carolina, bro, and you did something, you won a championship with a group of guys, they remember every single player from 2005. They still remember your stupid ass. But you know what they say when they say, Rashad McCants, can't stand that motherfucker. Guess what? I can't either. I think you're a hoe. I think you're stupid as hell. I think you're a coward. Because at the end of the day, for you to go to, if you never went to Carolina, to try to mend your relationship, I would have been like, cool, he just got a beef with Carolina. They ain't got nothing. But you trying to, and I bet you didn't tell anybody you did. And I think that shit corny as fuck. And you calling out teammates that's, how the hell does Marvin Williams not like you? Marvin Williams is one of the best guys I've ever met in my life. And you talk shit about Sean May, one of the nicest dudes ever, don't have beef with nobody. And you an asshole, bruh. And you just don't take no responsibility for nothing. I don't give a fuck I wasn't on your team. But for you to disrespect guys that I fuck with and that I talk to, I take offense to that. And then you talk about my coach. Plantation? What the fuck are you talking about, bruh? You won a championship. Who the fuck do you think you are? First of all, you are delusional. I think the crown is cutting off your circulation to your brain.
Any nigga who wear a crown in public.
You're wearing a crown in public. Nigga, you look stupid. They're not laughing with you. They're laughing at you. The hell are you doing, bro? Yeah. You're flat out silly. And guess what? Gilbert saved you. He saved you. Because guess what? Now you're on the show. You're doing a great job. They love paying you because you say the dumbest shit ever. You gotta have a dumbass on here to say some nut shit. So let's pay Rashad. That crown cutting off that circulation. So congratulations. You're doing a great job and you getting to the bag. I commend you for that. But at the end of the day, don't keep coming for the school when you try to come in there and amend your relationship and try to apologize to Coach Ware and do all this other shit. Why the fuck would they accept you? Fuck out of here, bro.
So, as you can see, it's really contentious. Like I said, he exposed a lot of that stuff that they were doing in regards to, you know, what the players were having going on. So, Rashad, like I said, he's on Gil's Arena. They do end up responding to it.
You ain't say nothing when the fat nigga jumped on. Why you say when the fat This ain't that when the fat bitch jumped on me.
What I'm supposed to do when the fat nigga jump on me?
He talking about Raymond
What I'm
Felton.
supposed to do?
Raymond Felton gained a lot of weight after his career.
Find 99 other men.
Y'all talking about fighting a gorilla.
Go 100 to 1.
I come in peace and unity. Okay? Whatever the podcast is, give them a shout out. Go watch it. I want y'all to judge it. Go to the thing and watch it. Tell me how y'all feel. I don't got nothing to say because they want to be where we at. And I want to bring them here. I want to get everybody up to our level.
Let's
But if
uplift.
you got to take shots at me to try to do that, it's going to look weird because everybody going to be like, hey, man, y'all wasn't taking these shots before Shy was on the show.
They
Now
actually were.
Shy on the show,
They had a
he
clip
wearing
where
the
they talked about him
crown,
before.
he talking his shit. Here come the Matrix agents. Here come Agent Smith and them. Let me get out my body and act like a goddamn zombie. Don't know what kind of fight being fought, nigga. I'm the light. Don't you see it?
No, because I stay out of it because
Yeah,
the way
I
my
try
brain
to.
work.
So yeah, they don't really go too much more after that. But I was thinking about, I listened to both of them, and I really have it's conflicting opinion on kind of both concepts of it, because I understand what Rashad was doing, but it kind of felt like when people use racism, but they don't be pro-black. When they be like, oh, these folks is being racist to us, but like the whole year you like, oh, you niggas need to stop being poor. And like, it felt like that because I know how his career panned out, and I know a lot of things that he talked about. Like he talks about before how a coach didn't let him average more than 20 points his freshman year because they didn't want no one to average more than 20 because that was Jordan averaged 20.
That's odd.
Like a lot of his shine was taken away. Like I think he was talking about one time.
Why wouldn't you want to be the coach who coached the person who averaged more than Michael Jordan?
So he tells a story about a guy who was like, they didn't like Jordan and the way he did things there because he made things a big deal about him, I guess. And so they didn't appreciate that, and they didn't want anybody else to come here and think, oh, they can be the next Jordan or whatever. So I think that was a large part of it.
Jealous of your big dicks. That's it. That's literally that's at the foundation of the thing.
So
I
I understand like a lot of his beefs with hangups with that, where it's like he said he even had the coach stopped him when he was doing one of his career highs. They pulled him out the game early, so he couldn't break like the 3-point record or whatever like that. It was just stuff like that where he felt like they were purposely holding him back.
They definitely were.
So that he couldn't be the player that he wanted to be, and then he goes to NBA. That career doesn't pan out, so it doesn't really validate those claims. You know what I'm saying? So it makes people look at you a particular kind of way. So that's what I'm saying. It feels like you're only bringing this up. I guess that's what it does to those gentlemen as well, that you're only bringing this up because your career didn't pan out the way you wanted to. If it did pan out the way you wanted to, you wouldn't have been coming and try to be this crusade for saying, oh, these kids is not getting the right education here. That wouldn't have mattered to you because you would have been Big Hooper.
Yeah, and you wouldn't have had to rely on any type of education.
Yeah. On my other feeling that I have, to the Baja podcast, y'all sounded like coons. Like I listened to it and it was funny because when I first heard it, I like reacted to like the first 5 minutes of it, and I put the Steven from Django, where I was like, that's what y'all boys sound like on this podcast. Y'all sound like Steven. Y'all over here, oh, well, you ain't about the team, your team, all this like brainwash stuff that they tell athletes that they have to do to, you know, be a part of something bigger than themselves. It was funny because in the interview they were playing, he even described himself, Rashad McCants described himself as Django. He said a lot of these niggas is Steven. And I didn't even know he said that before I reacted with that, but it was hilarious.
The whole time he's the one that's Steven?
No, he's saying, well, I don't think Rashad is Steven.
Oh, okay.
I think that what he is doing is just out of spite. It's not out of you really care. You know, you're doing it because you want to scorn the university that you felt scorned you. So that's why I feel like
like Drake with UMG.
You can put it like that. Where it's like you only going back to it because now they didn't do you right or the way that you felt like they should have.
Yeah.
So that's why I understand why people look at him and being like, oh, you're not legitimate. But then to fight the point that he's talking about or try to speak against the point he's talking about, which they really didn't do. But for the most part, to do that is kind of like, what are you saying? Like, are you trying to say like y'all should be not getting real educations while y'all are at a big time state university? Because you've seen it before. You went to college. You've seen the athletes would get preferential treatment throughout school. The grades would be better. They'd be graded at a different curve.
I didn't necessarily see it because I didn't go to a school that was known for sports.
Oh,
like the sports were just being played in the background. But like that's not what my school was known for. But I know that that's a thing. I might be lying too. Also, I don't know. I don't know. Is UAlbany known for sports? I don't know. I don't think so.
But no, my school, it was known for football. Like we were a big football school, and I had realized, like if you had more than like 3 or 4 football players in your class, eventually you would get graded on a curve. Like the teacher would be like, "Oh, I'm gonna grade everyone on a curve," and it just, so that they could pass. And I just started realizing that, and like if you wanted to, you could actually find the classes that they would be in.
Yeah.
Try to get in there, and then that would help you pass.
Yeah. That would have been a strategy.
Because all you would have had to do is just do a little bit of the work, and then the curve would have bumped you up to either passing or.
Especially if you're in a major that like football players.
But that's usually like communication and stuff. Like they never really have
like
real majors.
Business.
Barely. General studies. Niggas just be out there not getting
liberal
nothing.
arts.
But it's also a lot of struggles with that because Rashad McCants didn't necessarily go through this. But there has been like players who wanted to study pre-med and stuff like that. But those classes conflicted with their practice schedules. And so they may have not been able to do that. So
that's not realistic.
That happens though. I've seen
That's
that happen.
That's not realistic. You can't want to be a pre-med football player. You got to choose one.
No, you can't say that.
You have to choose one.
No, you don't.
Because both are too rigorous for you to do both. You have to, both of those things are things that you have to put 100% of yourself into.
I think
you have to put 100% of yourself into being an athlete, and the same for pre-med.
I'm not saying that, not pre-med. You can still focus on pre-med and still play football. People have done it. It's not common, but people have done it. But you
have to be a super person.
I think what the point you're missing, what I'm saying is the fact that they were stopping players from doing that and hindering players from being able to do that is an issue.
It is an issue.
That's the thing. That's the main thing. Because if I want to go there and I want to say, hey, I'm a top prospect, or I'm a prospect that y'all wanted to give me a scholarship, I still want to get the education that's available here at this university. So if I want to be pre-law, pre-med, whatever, engineer, you need to facilitate that and still work around that schedule, or make sure these classes are in a way that works with our schedule so that I can still do both. Because that's what you signed me here to be, a student athlete. And now with the NIL, more of these guys are going to be less focused on that, of course. So that's why you're going to see these kind of conversations go to the back burner, because it's going to be like,
because they get into that bag.
Yeah, they getting money now. Well, not all. I hate expressing it like that. The top players are getting to the bag.
Yeah, as they should.
So it's just, a lot of stuff was needed because Rashad McCants was a big focal point in what we have now in regards to resistance to the NCAA. And I think that's important. But I just think I understand where the conflict just comes from just that mindset. Because being in a team, they really brainwash you. Like, especially, you really see it more in football, but basketball too. They will brainwash you. They'll put you into this mindset where you should be thinking for the betterment of this program and not for yourself. And I think that's a line of thinking of the past, especially for just the way sports are being performed now and the money that's being made. This idea to ask kids to sacrifice or be less than for the greater good is just going to be.
It's a little. The football and sports and stuff are a little like too parallel to like slavery.
I understand that, but once
like
they start
the draft and like for the betterment of the program instead of yourself and all that, like when you put it all like that, it just seems like.
But see,
like very glamorous slavery.
Important because we need people to shine lights on this. So you can't shit on the guy for doing that, but then I can understand the hate that he was expelling to them too. Because
but then what they were saying, they said that he criticized the school, but then secretly went back to try to mend the relationship with the school without letting the public know.
And that wasn't true because he did say on Gil's Arena that he was going back to North Carolina. He did talk about that on Gil's Arena. So
okay.
It wasn't that it was true. They just don't watch each other's shows like that. So they don't know what y'all
Maybe y'all
not
should
saying.
Watch the people you talking shit about a little bit.
I mean, they don't care about them. That's not what they going to do. But I appreciated it. I ain't going to lie. I liked it, man. Rashad McCants could have came a little bit better. I think was a little lacking. I'd rather him like
he just came up with the clothes
with the fit
on and like danced around it like a little bitch.
Yeah, I didn't like that
because they called you all types of bitches and all.
They put ether to your name.
Like a bunch of stuff. They was in your ass.
I didn't play Raymond Felton's part, but Raymond Felton was bodying him. I don't want to play because I don't know if we can get copyright because of the music, but
yeah.
He was bodying him, calling him all sorts out of his name, loser, all of this stuff. So I mean, Gil deserves better from you, Rashad. He deserves for you to give him a performance, especially when he's not there. We need to get the numbers up. You should have at least called one of them like some crazier names. You don't have to say their name. Mm-hmm. You know y'all got nicknames when you hoop with a dude. So just like call him some goofball name. Could have called Rashad McCants Meatball. That would have been funny.
And then your co-host is like trying to egg you on and trying to instigate, which I loved.
I appreciated that too.
That was great. He was like, if that was me.
Yeah, Kenyon Martin is really showing himself to be really good in this media space.
Yeah.
But I think that was pretty much all I had for it. But y'all boys gotta shaping up, man. I don't like this, man. It's rough. All right, so let's just stay at the University of North Carolina. I think that'd be a good play, a good play for us to do right here. So the football coach of the University of North Carolina is actually the former coach of Tom Brady and the Patriots. His name is Bill Belichick. I know you probably don't care about or know these names or anything like that.
Nope.
But it's Bill Belichick. So he has been in the news similar to something with Shannon, not as egregious, but he has a 24-year-old girlfriend that he has been publicly flaunting, like I'm talking about gallivanting with on red carpets,
all over the place,
everywhere. And it's made a lot of people uncomfortable. Like a lot of folks have been trying not to talk about it. Like even Nick Wright, you know, the Persian man, you talk about who's not Persian. Nick Wright was like, yo, can we start talking? He said this on the show on Fox. Can we start talking about this publicly now? Because this is a little weird, right? Like he's flaunting a 24-year-old woman as his girlfriend, and he's 71.
I was about to ask you how old he is.
He's a 71-year-old man.
He looks old as dirt, but I wanted to know exactly how old he was.
He is 20 years older than Shannon. Granted, the girl is like, 3 or 4 years older than the girl Shannon was messing with?
Yeah.
Because I guess that girl's like 21 now, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, she's 3 years older than the girl Shannon with. I mean, they went to high school together. And or could have went to high school together.
They could have, yeah.
And so... the thing is, like, nobody's really talking about this the same way they was talking about Shannon. Like, I understand Shannon does have an assault that's attached to this. So I get that portion of it. But a lot of y'all not believing that girl when she made that claim. And all y'all was focusing on was the fact that Shannon was sleeping with this young girl. So we definitely need to hold this man to the same kind of fire, no?
Definitely, yeah. But it's at the same time, like, there's no assault and she's a little bit older. He's much older too, but she's a little bit older.
And I've been following a lot of like how the media has been talking about this and covering it. And it's only people like Nick Wright who's like wanting to say like Bill is weird in this. But most people I've been reading, the articles have been saying like she's this controlling girlfriend and she's trying to take, like they're really trying to villainize her.
Because there was a specific interview that like a lot of people are talking about that gave a lot of people the idea that she might be controlling. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But you have a clip of it, right?
Yeah, I got it. Hold on, give me a second. I'm going to play it for us. But
and then I heard before I saw this interview, like on like rumor mills, because you know I be on the underbelly of the internet. I heard that like she's always in the background, like correcting him and this and that. And they were really like, there's somebody like doing a whole PR campaign against this woman.
So before I do, I want to just read some of the headlines that's been talked about this. So this is from Black Sports Online. Bill Belichick's girlfriend, Jordan Hudson, has amassed a $9 million real estate assets since they started dating. Previously, she was a cosmetologist, so questions arise. Where does she get this cash from? Hudson says she is the COO of Belichick Productions.
That is a smart lady. Ma'am, you run it up, get your bag, set yourself up. Okay, so he's about to die.
This is from Sports Illustrated. Jordan Hudson, Bill Belichick's girlfriend, reportedly wanted to be heavily involved in the production of UNC's appearance of Hard Knocks.
Yep.
So like I said, all of this is just painting her like she's this girl who's trying to control him. I think even the TMZ one like specifically like outed that she was trying to control this man. So
what if that pussy is just
it's
crazy?
Tight. Oh, it's tight. I know it gotta be tight for him.
She like it's just crazy, and he's just trying to help her like advance her life and her career because that's his baby.
He is not. He probably almost get a heart attack every time he reached climax with her.
Like every time she even take one titty out,
Like the fact that
he
she's
has
sucking
a
on it,
slight stroke.
the fact that she's sucking on it is probably more than enough for him. She probably even got to get the pussy hit.
She probably don't even pull out her best work for real.
She probably just like will give a little lollipop work and then he done so.
You know what is gonna be?
Look at how she got him dressed all dirty in the interview.
You know what's gonna be hilarious is in a year when the scandal of her having an affair with one of the black NFL players.
It's not gonna be NFL players. It's gonna be one of the college players. She only a few years older than a few of them.
Yeah, but that's gonna be. I hope just do the NFL.
It's gonna definitely be a player.
Do the NFL. But
Jordan was a constant presence during our interview.
You have Jordan
I guess
right over there. Everybody in the world seems to be following this relationship. They've got an opinion about your private life. It's got nothing to do with them, but they're invested in it. How do you deal with that?
Never been too worried about what everybody else thinks. Just try to do what I feel like is best for me and what's right.
How did you guys meet?
Not talking about this.
No?
No.
It's a topic neither one of them is comfortable commenting on.
Corner.
So I do want to just do a report on this before this. They did say, and she said this beforehand too, that they met on a plane together.
A plane?
Yeah, they were sitting next to each other on a plane together.
She was hoeing in the skies.
That is actually, the rumor is that she was allegedly an escort.
Like, come
and
on
he fell
now.
in love with, what's that movie where Sandra Bullock was a prostitute?
Pretty Woman?
That's what happened. He fell in love with his pretty woman.
Love that for her.
I mean, I'm not mad at her.
And especially if she was an escort and he just fell in love with her, then it's not as creepy as Shannon's. He seems a little simpy for falling in love with an escort and then putting her in a position where she has millions of dollars and she's in a powerful position at your corporation. But at the same time, like as close to 25 as it gets, that's when I'm like, all right.
Bill Belichick is like the same age as my dad.
Because when does your frontal lobe develop? 25, right?
That's usually what they say.
Yeah, around 25. 25 is like, it's so many creepy niggas out there. That's my 25, you fine.
My dad is around Bill Belichick's age. And if I was to see him with a woman of this age.
Younger than me?
That would be the flyest shit in the world, yo. I ain't gonna lie. That would be fly. I couldn't hate on my pops if he was out here with a young thing, at that age.
We would just be having to make sure that he's not changing no paperwork up.
Oh, for sure. It'd
like,
be like,
we need to make sure that you would be concerned in some way.
Yeah, we wouldn't even let it go past a second date until we get everything locked in step.
Like, what? You have no idea. You would be stressed on a regular basis.
Well, my dad got a vasectomy, so I don't have to worry about.
No, it don't even matter. Like, he could change everything after one good nut. And you wouldn't even be there.
My boy wouldn't do that to me.
You wouldn't even be there for it. You would have no idea.
No, what I'm telling you, after the first date, as soon as he tell me he with this young girl, I'm getting the power of attorney.
Yeah.
I'm getting everything under to me.
He's not of sound
mind.
mind.
He can't make any decisions. He done got drowned by that young pussy. You know what I'm saying? He's an addict to it right now. So he shouldn't be making no new choices. All right. He don't know what he's doing.
Is clearly hypothetical because he's a happily married man.
Yeah, I'm just saying, but I'm just thinking about because this man is my dad's age, so I'm just trying to put myself in their shoes. Like I would think
he's
it's
not
fly,
my dad's
though.
age because your daddy old.
That's crazy. That's 8. That's a good man right
Damn.
there. That's 8. That's a good man. But so if your dad was with you don't have to just say a girl that was that age, you would flip out?
I'm a woman. I'm a girl. So yes, immediately yes, I would flip out. Immediately flip out. I would flip out in front of everybody. I would not hold back. Immediately. What the fuck is this?
But you'll come around to it though.
No.
Yes, you would.
No.
Yeah, I think if she held your daddy down for like 2.5 years.
Yeah, my daddy now, yes. My daddy with money, absolutely not. My daddy with Bill Belichick money, absolutely. If you getting the fuck out of here, harlot. But my dad now, like, if you listen, it don't matter because my dad's wife is younger.
Mm-hmm.
She holds him down. He's a very simple man. He can't cook. He can't clean. You need to do that. You need to do that. You need to keep him fed and alive. And she does that happily. And she's really, she throws down in the kitchen. Like, I'd be happy to go to my dad's. So I'm fine with it.
All right. So, like I said, I hate that the way that this is being covered, and I don't like that we're not holding this grown man accountable for his action. And we're trying to portray this young girl who, again, she may be opportunistic, but who can blame her?
Nobody's blaming her, girl. Like,
no, people are. We just read. I can show you more articles of people blaming her.
I'm not blaming you, girl.
They're trying to paint her like this gold digger.
You get your money.
I mean, what is it being young if you're not gonna finesse an old man? Like,
okay, like if you gonna pop that pussy, pop it while you 22.
Pop it for a real nigga. Honestly.
Okay.
But the media is
that pussy.
That's the part that just disgusts me, seeing just how they treat the difference in just the way that they portray and the narratives behind these stories.
It is, but they're slightly different. Like, they're different gray areas in the situation with Shannon and the situation with Bill. And I feel like Shannon's gray areas are darker than Bill's. Yeah. So that's why.
No, I feel you. So we can still stay in a little bit of the football realm. So Shedeur Sanders, I'm pretty sure you've become well familiar with that name.
I am 100% like, I know what's going on in the sports because of this young black man.
So I do want to say this has probably been the first time that like the rest of the world, because I always end up watching like a lot of the draft or keeping up with it on my phone or whatever, has watched this far into the draft, NFL draft. I think this even actually was a record.
Everyone was on the edge of their seat because it was a grave injustice what happened.
We'll get into that. So Shedeur Sanders, Deion Sanders' son, he was selected in the 5th round, I think 144th pick to the Cleveland Browns. That is the destitute place that all players go to essentially career die.
Yeah, but he can make it out eventually, no?
I mean, you can quote unquote make it out.
His dad is.
I mean, you can quote unquote make it out, but people are really upset about him falling in the draft. He was projected by a lot of the media to be a top 5, top 10 pick for someone to, choose him to lead their franchise this upcoming season.
Because of his talent.
See, this is the media. This is what I'm saying. The media is a little bit enamored by Deion. Remember how we talked about last time when Skip Bayless was talking about all this stuff, how great man Deion was and how, he was just this great epitome of a person. And I brought up the article about him choking his wife. And I was like, y'all are trying to paint somebody who has obvious flaws. Talking about him. So the thing about with Shedeur, like I said, the media projected him to be a top pick. But when you actually got into the weeds of the draft and the people who were making these decisions, they did not view him as a top pick. A lot of people would say that he was a day 3 pick. And I understand that. But what they'll argue is the quarterbacks that were selected before him, some of them guys may not have been as good as him. I disagree in regards to like Jackson Dart for the most part. Yeah, Jackson Dart. The other 2 guys, it was questionable. Anybody could have, they all could have been selected.
He could have been earlier.
Potentially he could have, but the thing was he didn't play along. He didn't do a lot of the things that a player of his caliber should have had to do.
He didn't shuck and jive for the white man.
See, no, and that's what I hate that we keep trying to. I know you're joking, but people are really saying that, and I don't agree with that. It's a shucking and jiving. The thing is this, like,
I heard that he had a meeting with the Giants, showed up late, and was disrespectful during the meeting.
That was something that was said. They said that he wasn't prepared, that the coach called him out on not being prepared. Mm-hmm. And then they kind of got into a little, not really big thing, but a 1-2 about it. There was other people who came out, multiple people now have came out and said, he felt entitled. He felt like he was going to control the organization that he wanted to go to. Some people said they made them feel small. Mm-hmm. Trying to have a conversation with him regarding that. To be honest, we have to take a lot of things into consideration. His coach has been his father almost his entire professional career, but his entire development as a quarterback. Mm-hmm. And when you're a quarterback, that requires a lot of personal development. People have to really kind of be on you. You have to be kind of the center of things because you make a lot of the stuff happen in regard, especially the offense. So when you see a player who has been essentially, for lack of a better word, coddled his entire development by being able to do what he wants because he know his father is not going to take him out. His father's not going to stop him from doing it. His father going to make sure plays are called that are his strengths and that they highlight that.
Because he's trying to get him into a certain position.
Yeah. So
they on the same team.
You can't look at that as another coach and say, well, can I bring that in? And if I do bring that in, is my job going to now be at risk? Because his father is a coach. Because you want to have him every Saturday talking about, oh, what Shedeur did this week or Shedeur did that last week or why isn't Shedeur in the game? Like, these are going to be conversations that's going to be had. And if you're the starter, now you have Deion Sanders, a legend, coming at you. And to just be honest, my personal opinion, Shedeur just wasn't that good. Like, a lot of that stuff was just manipulated and organized for him to thrive. Like, there's a video that's out with him and Cam Ward was the quarterback who was the number 1 pick.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, yo, yeah, you got the award for the highest percentage, but you was throwing short passes. You was throwing screens and dunks and all that, dink and dunking. Like, you wasn't throwing the ball downfield. And that's a real flaw in his game, is like his decision making, how long he holds the ball, being able to really push the ball downfield. Like, he's a good player overall, but he's an average player relative to his competition. And there's just a lot of hype about him because people love Deion.
What was Deion's position when he played?
He was a cornerback.
Okay.
So he played on defense.
I don't know what that means.
He played on defense. He stopped the wide receivers from catching the ball, essentially. People are just been caught up in the Shedeur life because I don't think that I don't really think they're serious. Because, like, they didn't have a manager. So that's why you had the prank call happen.
Yeah, I saw that. So the son of
Falcons defensive coordinator. Yep.
Yeah, called him, recorded himself calling Shedeur and everything, just stupid and guilty, and called him and tried to make it seem like he was being drafted to be the quarterback for the Falcons
or
the Saints.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck? What thought it was the Falcons coordinator?
No, he's the Falcons coordinator, but his son found the numbers because it wasn't just Shedeur's number.
Okay, so he wasn't calling on behalf of the Falcons.
He got a bunch of players' numbers,
and
they were calling players, making jokes, saying like, "Hey, oh, you about to get drafted by this team," and then lying and saying, "Oh, nope, no, you're not gonna get drafted." And Shedeur was one of the people on there. And the reason
he was
why
streaming too.
Yeah, he was streaming when it happened. He was streaming the whole draft. But the reason why this happened was because Shedeur didn't have an agent. So generally your agents will handle that kind of communication aspect so that a number doesn't get out. But when you don't have an agent, you have to send it directly to the league. So now you're on this list, and that list can easily be compromised. There was a journalist who was talking about it and was like, I was surprised how like easily this could be compromised, and that I was seeing the names that I was seeing on here from the draft. Like, he was like, this is nuts. But when you don't have that draft, when you're not playing within the lines, and that's what I'm saying, I don't want to call it shucking and jiving, but at the same token, when your son isn't a Heisman winner, it wasn't like he won every accolade at the position. He wasn't playing against the best competition. He's not in the SEC. You can't sit here and think that you can pull your dick around. You're not. He was not that kind of player. Deion, you were at your time. Your son is not that kind of player, and you don't have that ability. Like, I hate people comparing like Cam Newton and Johnny Manziel and all of these other guys, Baker Mayfield, to him, when do y'all not understand them men was Heisman Trophy winners? They were the best players in college football that year. That was not Shedeur.
Was he close?
No, he wasn't even in the top of like the major contenders for the trophy.
So he wasn't a contender at all?
No, he wasn't a contender this year for the Heisman.
Yeah, so it does make sense that he wouldn't be a top draft.
He's just, like I said, he's just not that guy. And for y'all to put racism on it, for y'all to say all of this other goofy stuff, it's no, bro. He didn't come prepared. He wasn't trying to actually show that he wanted to be involved in these teams. They was telling teams that they didn't want to get picked, like by his way he carried himself in the interview. Like, he was telling teams he didn't want to get picked. A good example of coming in with good character. So the guy who got picked before Shedeur, who was a quarterback too for the Browns, he's 5'11" quarterback. He, probably not going to be a star in this league. But when he sat down in his interviews, he was telling people, I know at this time I'm going to be a development. I got to be, something that's going to be a work in progress. But if you believe in me, I'm going to do my job in making sure the QB is going to be ready, making sure the team's going to be motivated. I'm going to be a team player. And that's a guy that you're not upset to try to put a flyer on.
Yeah. Because when you pick a quarterback, too, you're kind of picking like a leader of the team. No, not not like the captain.
Essentially.
But he's the leader of the team. And if he's cocky and if he thinks that he's like the best thing since sliced bread, then that's not an ego that you want on the team, because it's probably not going to mesh well. It's going to cause more problems than not. And you want the team to have chemistry. Regardless of what you're doing, if you have a team, you want chemistry within that team. And you don't want one person to come in blowing it up.
Mm-hmm. No, and that's definitely true. And the thing about it is, you also don't want to come into an organization where the only reason you're there is because the owner drafted you. And that's what's happening too with them. Is kind of the only reason he got picked. If you look at when they drafted him, they showed a screen of the draft war room for the Browns. The GM, not happy. You just can see their body language. The coach, no emotion. Everybody just sitting there pissed off because you can tell it came from the top. Hey, he's still available. Get him now. And it's not their plan. That's not who they wanted to see in there. And now you have the specter of your owner again, who, granted, this is the same owner who signed Deshaun Watson to $231 million guaranteed after having multiple sexual assault cases while being the quarterback of the Houston Texans. So he also was the one who told him to draft Johnny Manziel, who flamed out for him after like 2 seasons. So like he doesn't have a track record of being good at this.
Johnny Manziel is the guy, this is how I know people, who was dating Bree, Nick Cannon's baby mother.
Yep.
That's how I know that man, because I was like, that sounds familiar.
This is the Browns. Who's who they pick. So I don't think Shedeur is actually in a good place to win. I don't see it. I think he's going to, honestly, his peak for me and what I believe is going to be like a multi-year journeyman, meaning he's going to play on different teams. He may start here and there, but he'll never be like a focal point in the football league. To me,
I wish that this went a little bit better, like aesthetically and stuff, because I am a very big fan of black nepotism. I love Bronny and LeBron. It's Bronny, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bronny and LeBron on the Lakers. I love Blue Ivy strutting down that stage with her mama and Rumi on that stage too. We're not going to talk about the other baby. We going to talk about who was on that stage. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I love Big Baller Brand. Okay, that's not really nepotism because their daddy wasn't in the NBA, right? But
he played in the NFL for a little bit, but
I love that. I just love the black families doing amazing things. And I love Dion and both of his sons being in the NFL, because his other son was signed as like a free agent or whatever after the draft, right?
Went to Tampa Bay.
Yeah. So I like when that happens in general. And I want for Bronny to get better and dominate in the NBA. I want for Shedeur to prove all of these whites wrong. I want the Browns to fucking win the Super Bowl next year.
The Browns. Yeah, man. Like I said, you went to the perfect place to be some shit as the Browns. So salute to you, man.
Yeah. Like what is that name even? Like Brown Bears? Is that their thing?
Like that's like honestly, I don't believe there was any collusion being done in regards to like NFL owners or coaches.
They were like, this black man is too successful and his black son is gonna come in and be too, we gotta stop this black family from being black and excellent. That's exactly what was happening in the boardrooms.
As we draft other black men that have been excellent time in and time.
No, but he can be excellent for the first time around, but his son can't.
Oh my goodness. Can I just say this one part too, and then we can wrap up this part? It was so funny. The fact y'all thought the Giants was going to draft a nigga is hilarious to me.
Oh, Jackson Dart is not a black man?
No, he's a white boy from
Ole Miss. I take that back.
He's the quarterback from Ole Miss. And if you don't know why that's important, Eli Manning, he went to Ole Miss, and that was the person everybody kept trying to compare him to in regards to like, because that's what Archie did. Archie told the Chargers, if you draft my son, we not gonna play for you, and we just gonna put our name back in.
Have the Giants not had a black quarterback?
The last time they had a black quarterback start, the coach got fired afterwards.
Wow.
That's something you can look up to. I'm not even bullshit.
Wow, it's New York.
It was Geno Smith was the quarterback, and the coach got fired shortly after.
Who whatever. It's just because New York is diverse don't mean that the people running the Giants are diverse.
No
obviously.
way. They come from like the old racist NFL.
It's old money, yeah.
Like they from that portion of the NFL. Like we going like my team growing up, the Commanders. We was the last team to let black people play.
Y'all were also just the Redskins.
The president had to say, like, can you put niggas on the team, please?
Please.
That shit was so crazy, yo. We had to crack.
They run faster and they're stronger.
And then guess what? Like 2 years later, we like won the Super Bowl. And guess what? We was the first team to win the Super Bowl with a black quarterback. After years of racism, staunch racism.
See what happens with inclusion.
Oh man, that was crazy. We didn't deserve that. All right, so we do have some more. It seems like it's a sports day for us.
It's fucking Talk FNF Sports Edition.
Hey, don't worry. That's going to be something that's in the future. Don't worry about that. That's coming. But we do have to get into Saquon Barkley, the running back from the Super Bowl winning Philadelphia Eagles. They basically, it was him and a bunch of his other teammates. They chose to go to the White House. You know, they usually do the acceptance.
Mm-hmm. But who didn't go?
Your boy Jalen.
Okay.
Jalen Hurts.
A black king.
So he got a lot of Saquon got a lot of what's the
Flack.
term? Flack for it? That's the term. Got a lot of flack for doing this. And so this is what he tweets. And like you can tell that he's a dude, bro. One, you can tell by the way his wife looks, that he grew up
He got
like
a white wife?
Yeah. I'm talking about Becky. So
Come on now.
This is what he says to everybody who was upset about him going to the White House. LOL. And also his pictures with Trump. So LOL. Some people are really upset because I played golf and flew to the White House with the president in all caps. Maybe I just respect the office. Not a hard concept to understand.
Oh my God. Get the fuck out of here.
Just golfed with Obama not too long ago. And looked forward to finishing my round with Trump. Now, get out of my mentions with all that politics and have an amazing day.
Politics, it's not just politics. It's literally somebody violating our rights, our human and American rights on a regular basis.
And also,
on a daily basis.
Also, Saquon, you have to realize you were a person who was very outspoken during the racial uprising that was going on in 2020 with the George Floyd and wanting the NFL to be more vocal about things. So you have to understand that this is also going to look counter
hypocritical.
To that. It looks entirely antithetical to that point when obviously we're pretty sure you're not as informed of what's going on with Trump and the things that he's doing that's destroying the country. But it doesn't affect you. You're probably still rich and still doing really well. But for a lot of other people, they're scared because a lot of things that they need have become more expensive in light of Trump. The things that they require have been almost taken from them because of that. So, like I said, healthcare, things that people expect to be entitled to, for their health and things of that nature are at risk. And this man doesn't care. And when we see athletes like you who say that you care about people outside of yourself, it just doesn't look like that those things ring true.
Obviously not, because you're there with them. And this is what happens. I don't want to be an asshole, but this is the behavior of a man who is married to a white woman versus a man who's married to a black woman. So, Jalen would never.
So listen to what one of his teammates said. So this is Eagles Eli Ricks fawns over Ivanka Trump at the after the White House visit. Says exactly my type.
Yeah, which is like that's one level of crazy because like we know you niggas love white women, but that's another level of crazy because that's the president's wife. And you were just in his house.
Daughter.
Oh, Ivanka. My bad. That's the president's daughter, and you were just in his house, and she's married, and you talk about my type. Like, that's absolutely insane.
Like, y'all just go there, and y'all just show y'all entire ass. Like, just to the fact of, like, you already going there. Now you're going to sexualize the man daughter. Granted, he's done it himself. So, I mean, it's within bounds. So, I mean, you can't get mad at that, because if you're doing something his daughter, Trump's done, who cares, right?
No, nobody
But
cares.
it just seems as though like it just feels very disingenuous. It feels like these guys, they know what they're doing, right? They're not that dumb, right? I don't think being the dumb jock is that prevalent nowadays, is it?
I do think they're a little bit dumb because there's no way at this point you either, like you say, you either stupid or you sinister. Like it's one or the other. They either stupid or they straight up just don't give a damn about anybody, and they're trying to put themselves in a position of like slightly more power, which is idiotic and laughable because there's no way that you going to the White House is going to benefit you in any way, shape, or form, like in your actual real life. Because
a lot of these guys end up being
hates you niggas, but
a lot of these guys end up being in politics though. Like, remember I told you the dude who's in Trump's cabinet for the urban housing stuff? He used to be an ex-football player. So like a lot of these guys end up getting into politics and working alongside these people. So.
Well, then I guess I'm wrong. I bite my tongue. That's how you benefit from it. That's still, it's disgusting.
Yeah. And then like I said, people will have skipped out on it before. So shout out to Jalen for, if it is for political reasons why he skipped out on it, shout out to him. I think that's important.
But you remember after they won and he was on the red carpet and the interviewer asked him whether he was going to be going to the White House, and he was like, literally just like that. Like he was just like, and she was like, all right, that's the answer. And he was like, I mean, he didn't say nothing. All he did was like, like that's all he did.
I mean, sometimes it's for the best. Like honestly, when you're at a certain point, it's just for the best. So
I think he did it as smart. He didn't say anything when he was asked about it, and then he just didn't show up and didn't give a reason. I'm just not there.
No, I feel you. That's like I said, I'm not mad at it. So.
That's how I am at work sometimes when I'm scheduled. I'm just not there.
So let's get into this Travis Kelce thing. So this Page 6 and all like TMZ have been reporting on this. And I thought it was hilarious. And it said Travis Kelce unfollowed Ryan Reynolds.
Oh my God, headline news.
But I saw some people saying that he never followed Ryan Reynolds. But then I saw multiple blogs that were just passing this around. And it just made me think because like we've already talked about Blake Lively and Justin was Baldoni. That's his name. Their case that's going on and the fact that they brought Taylor Swift up in it.
Yeah. Blake has brought Taylor Swift up multiple times. Called her dragon.
That was exactly what I was about to say. Called her dragon.
Yeah.
Like some Game of Thrones. And apparently that has created conflict amongst the two. So there's been a lot of reports saying that Blake and Taylor are no longer cool. She didn't like that comment.
Yeah, because you're making it seem like I just come in and use my power to get you what you want regardless of what's going on.
Yeah, or she basically just weaponized her existence.
Yeah, and that's not cool because am I your friend or no? On one hand, am I your friend or no? And then on the other hand, bitch, even if I do this, why would you be telling people that? Like, that's weird.
That is actually a big one too, where it's like, what if she wanted to work with Justin in the future? Like, she thought Justin was a good dude, and now you didn't put my name into some beef when I'm not even in the conflict.
I'm not even in it.
I just said, yeah, I like what you wrote down. I don't know nothing about writing. I don't write my own music. I'm just playing. I know she does, but
yeah,
Swifties, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we don't want it. We don't want the smoke with you.
But it made me ponder a question because there wasn't really too much you could report on Travis Kelce unfollowing Ryan Reynolds. But it made me ask a real important question, like in a relationship and when you're with your significant other, how do you handle like beefs like that? Because then I can imagine, because they've been friends for a while, Taylor introducing Travis in a real way to them.
If I got beef, you got beef.
Universal beef?
For as long as the beef lasts, you got beef.
See, I feel like in this situation where
if I got smoke, you have hell fire.
No, but see, this is what I'm saying. This is a little bit different though, because their situation, he should definitely follow suit with Taylor, because if he didn't have a relationship with Ryan beforehand or with Blake or whatever, like he didn't have any kind of relationship with them, then yeah, I met you through her. So now that y'all got beef, I'm out.
Yeah.
But now my question would be like this. If you're in a relationship and say like my homeboy talked to your homegirl and something happens between them and it doesn't turn out ideal, am I supposed to now beef with my homeboy because he did X, Y, and Z to your homegirl? I'm just asking.
You're not supposed to. No, you shouldn't beef with your homeboy because he did something to my homegirl. If this situation specifically happens, we don't got nothing to do with that.
Oh, now how's she gonna say that? Because she gonna be like, I met him because of you.
But did in this hypothetical, did we go out of our way to set these people up, or did they just end up
What is going out your way? Because if you say your friend coming over and I tell my homeboy, hey, she bringing a friend over, is that going out my way?
No, that's not going out your way because we didn't try to set it up. If
we just literally set it up.
No, because if I was like, oh, I want you to talk to so-and-so's friend because I think y'all would be really good together. That's what I That's what I think is going out of your way. Because if I got friends and you got friends and our friends are in the same vicinity, male and female, like, of course that might happen. That don't got shit to do with us.
Okay. So then what if...
And then if it goes sour, that still don't got shit to do with us. And then if it goes sour and it's brought into our relationship for some reason, that's not okay.
But then you got to cut the friend off if they bring it into the relationship. Like they start bringing up people's names and like saying this person said X, Y, and Z.
I think it depends on the context because what is that person saying that you said? Is it some craziness or is it just like messy?
Or if they're just saying things that you didn't say at all.
That is messy.
You know what I'm saying? Like fabricating things. So like I said, and then that, like I said, that makes problems in our house. So why would I want to involve myself in that even further?
Yeah, but that's just like, it's just crazy because we didn't want this in the first place. Like we didn't try to set y'all up. Now we just in this mess. We just in this mess and we didn't even want to be in this mess.
And then just imagine if like one of the variables has something that both of us didn't even know existed that adds like a secondary layer onto it. So then it's like, whoa.
Now
there's three legs on this tripod.
Everything is fuzzy. Everything is confusion. I am literally like I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone.
And then they try to make you like be against your homeboy like he a bad dude or something. And it's like, nah. Like,
even though he like your homeboy might kind of like on paper be a bad dude as far as dudes go.
No, not as far as dudes go.
As far as dudes romantically go,
no.
The nigga might be a bad dude.
No, it could be way worse.
But as far as like humans go, okay.
Nah.
But we got a little bit too.
You got too personal.
Got a little too specific there.
Oh man, y'all are good people though. Y'all are our friends still, so don't get mad at us. It just so
Neither
happened.
them niggas watching this.
Okay.
Neither them niggas watching this.
You're probably right.
At all. I bet money on that shit.
We could just say their names. They wouldn't know.
No, we're not gonna do that though.
But it was funny because like we wasn't even trying. That wasn't even where the conversation was planned to go.
No, it wasn't at all because that's not even the beef that's going on with Justin and
Travis
Travis and whatchamacallit. I feel like regardless of if you're my this has changed a little bit as I've gotten older because when I was younger, I held grudges and if it's up, it's up. And if I have a problem with you, everyone that I care about and love has to have a problem with you as well, or I have a problem with them. It was very toxic.
See, I was always a sicko with it where like I didn't make people choose alliances.
No, you're going to have to choose a side.
No, I didn't make people choose alliances. It was just if you moved in a fashion that I felt wasn't deemed worthy anymore, then I just conducted myself accordingly. So if you are moving with this person, and you know that's my opposition, then I'm just not going to fuck with you as heavy. I'm not going to put you on things. If I know you do something, you work on X, Y, and Z, I'm not putting that play to you no more. You're not my partner.
That's kind of the same. You made the decision instead of making them make a decision.
I mean, it's not about making a decision. It's just understanding. They made the decision already. If you don't value me and you know this person is my opposition and you know that we got conflict, then you don't really value me in a real way. You may value them more. You may not value them in a real way either. That even makes me even want to not be around you because you just around niggas you don't value.
Have you ever been in a situation like that where like one of your friends was like too close to your ops and you had to like take a step back?
It was probably like a few times in college where that's happened, where like I done seen just dudes who maybe I was building a rapport with and I just seen the way that they was cool with somebody I didn't fuck with or I may have conflict in the past. And it was like, yeah. Because me and that person may have to go to blows for something. Mm-hmm. And I don't want you in a way to have to pick a side or pick against me. Really, that's the main thing. I don't want to not expect you to shoot punch. I'm expecting you to punch with me, and next thing I know, you punching at me. That's crazy. I actually had a situation though, right? I was with this isn't a roommate you think about. It's another roommate I had, and we had went out to a club, and I was still just chilling, and this like clown nigga had his like this big ass gorilla looking nigga had his shirt off in the club or whatever, and like he started like mean mugging me, like, and so like I didn't back down or nothing. Like I wasn't gonna act like I was scared. I wasn't gonna look away. I kept looking at him like, "What's up?" And I could see out of the corner of my eye, like the dude who I live with this nigga. He came with me to this club. Start stepping back. Like as me and the nigga start, like the tension starts rising, he's stepping back.
I would do the same.
That's lame as hell. Mm-hmm. You supposed to be on my side.
I'm a lame ass bitch. I don't know.
You lame. That is lame as hell.
Yeah, I'm a lame ass bitch. I don't know what to say.
So you just let your homegirl get whacked?
Probably not.
Yes, you would.
Probably not, especially if I'm drunk. You know I'm confrontational. I'll probably. I'd be like, whoop that trick, get him. Nah. I've never really, maybe one time in that situation, but a little bit more of my lore, I'm usually the villain in other people's stories. I've been thinking about it, and most of the time when I have conflicts, I'm the villain. So I usually win. And then, so there was this one time, speaking of conflicts, I was at the friend who had to be backed up. I mean, I wasn't the friend who had to do the backing up. Mm-hmm. I was the friend who had to be backed up because, again, a little bit confrontational. There was this white woman in the bar, and you know how white people get drunk? They basically have no sense of personal space whatsoever. This woman was trying to be one with me. So I turn around, and then I, like, elbow her off of me, right? And then I'm like, bitch, like, give me my personal space. And then she tries to get in my face, so I mush her. And then she's with her boyfriend, a black man. So then he starts like getting in my face. And I was like, oh, you trying to protect your little white woman. This is literally.
Yo, you are like the typical like.
Literally what I said to him. I was like, oh, so now you need to protect your little dainty white woman, huh? And then I see security see us. I literally immediately stop everything. He's still going. I see security walking towards us. He's still going. Security kicks them out.
That's because he was a black man, and that's why.
Yeah, because what do you mean? You're still a black man. And then she apparently left her jacket in the bar. She comes back inside crying to grab her jacket. I didn't even know that. I just saw her coming back. I immediately activate again. Nessa behind me. She like, bitch, like she's ready to go. And I'm like yelling at her face while she's fully crying. I'm like, bitch, what the fuck are you crying for, you lame ass bitch? I'm yelling in this bitch face, crying. She literally is still racist to this day because of me. She does not like black women.
In that moment, you were the epitome of like when a football player talk about like why he with a white woman. Like that moment, you epitomized what his fears were.
Yeah, and I remember like
your inflection, your mannerism, the way your head turned to the side, like you just went into like this natural form.
Nah, because we were literally at the bar directly next to each other, and it was like an hour of her like literally rubbing her whole body against mine, like, and then I'm like drinking more and more because I had won a little giveaway. My drinks were free. I'm drinking more and more and more and getting more aggravated. She does one whole, like, her whole body is against mine. Like this. I was done. It's one of my favorite stories. I also rode an electric bull that night, and I looked sexy as fuck on that electric bull, and I have a video of it. It was a good night. I was about 22, 23.
I don't know how much of this we can keep. We like extended that like way longer than I thought it was. But I do have to check you about something, man.
Ooh, what'd I do?
Are you like incapable of like doing analysis of white art or something?
White art?
Yeah, like white content.
I mean, I prefer not to, but
it just seemed like the other day, like I was trying to have a conversation with you about you, and it just seemed like you were just so like unable to like actually engage in dialogue about it. Like, see, I tried to play it cool and be like, what if I did that for you? Just to start the conversation. What if I did that for you? Would you love me? And then she's like, no, you're a murderer, psycho. And it's like, what? Come on, like play along a little bit. Like she don't want to do none of that. But I really wanted to get into like real topics about the show because I think the meaning of You is showing women they really don't handle the passion that they crave for, like in the books and all that other stuff that women say they like. Like you really couldn't take that to the logical, its logical completion. And I think that is what the show is expressing because it fulfills all the tropes.
I think women, when they read that type of like stuff, know that this is just a fantasy and this would never play out in real life because in real life it would be scary and it would be creepy and it would be toxic.
But that's the problem I have with you.
Even I know you weren't fully watching this season, but Dante or whatever her name, Bronte, the redhead, the new love interest, she even says that like we masturbate to this until we realize what have we done. Like we want this until we realize that this is actually ridiculously toxic and this is not something to want. This is a fantasy.
And again, I understand that.
And you're calling it passion and it's not passion. He's a murderer.
And that's because I feel like you just go surface level on your synopsis of this show. Like let's take out murderer. Let's just change the fact that he's just doing things in action of the person he loved. And I think those themes kind of ring a little bit more true. Like even the fact that she brought him into there knowing exactly who she was. You had this ravenous dog, and instead of feeding him steak, you tried to make him into a vegetarian. You can't do that with people.
I think his wife, I forget her name, Kate.
Yeah.
She was extremely delusional in the way that she handled this man. Like she thinks that she's this like smart, like business shark or whatever. But when it came to like a very dangerous man, you put the blindfold over your eyes and you chose to ignore the obvious. She knew exactly who he was. She knew he was a monster. She had the background check and everything done. She had it buried last season, and we didn't even know that she did not look into the stuff that she had buried. Why would you not look into it? She fucking literally chose to be blind to what she knew.
But that's what love is. Love is blind. You watch the show every 6 months.
And it gets worse every season.
No, it doesn't.
And I didn't even watch the last season. Yep. And then he does this creepy thing where he tries to do like this Joe-like monologue in this like monotone voice while he's like looking at me in my eyes. And I'm just like, can we not? I'm uncomfortable.
See, the thing is this, I resonate with Joe in a particular way because I too have been with the woman who's asked me to show who I am, to take my mask off, and in the moment that I do, it's now too much and too
Are you a murderer? Let me know now so I can leave.
No, I'm not a murderer. I'm talking about that's what I'm saying. You too literal with your synopsis on this show. The show is deeper than just him being a murderer.
No, him taking his mask off is him being a serial killer.
Yes, but taking your mask off is a figure of speech.
Okay, so I'm just trying to figure out whether y'all have the same type of mask on.
No, what I'm saying is you can show people who you are when they say that they want to be vulnerable, they want to see your real side, and then you show them that, and it's too much for them to handle because they're not capable of that kind of affection or that kind of passion or that kind of consistency. So that happened. I've been there in those situations. Like I think about people, I can put almost a name to every person he's been with, his main character. I can almost put a name.
Oh, so you be thinking about the bitches that you lost because they couldn't handle your passion?
No, when I watched the show,
bitches of times
you know past. I watched the show before I met you, right?
Bitches of
you know I
times
watched
past.
The show before
That's
I met
exactly
you, right?
what you be thinking about. You be like, I wish this bitch could have handled my passion so I could be with her instead of my wife.
I never said that. What I'm saying is I've watched the show, and when watching the show, I have seen myself in Joe in regards to his.
Danny can have you.
That was crazy. Is that what he ended up with a dude?
Danny can have you.
Is that what he ended up with a dude at the end?
No.
I didn't finish it. So.
No, I didn't finish it either.
But I just feel like there's
because I decided not to fucking forsake you and continue watching it.
You watched 2 episodes.
It doesn't matter. I've decided not to continue forsaking you after this nigga. After we watching the show together, the fucking Danny again go pop up in the spaces And then he could be like, I'm gonna, can I go? And then
I didn't ask. I told you I was
going.
going.
I'm like, we're watching the show. Can we watch the show? He's like, you can watch it without me. Can I? I can watch it without you now?
You did.
Danny, you can have him. You can have him.
That's hate. That's hate.
Nathaniel.
That's not even his name.
Demanuel.
So, our last video where we talked about Marc, I had said, like, I needed him to, like...
Why do you never do the thing that you do when I say I like other men's content, when I say I enjoy Marc? Is it because you respect him as well?
What about don't like men?
Yeah. You've never said that. I've complimented Marc maybe like 3-4 times on the show before and off the show.
I've been stopped doing that, though.
You've
I haven't
never
done that in a
pushed
minute.
back.
I've stopped doing that, though.
Okay.
I haven't been doing it that often.
I feel like you have an overwhelming sense of respect for this man, which is why you are fine with me liking his content.
That's not necessarily the case. It's just I haven't said that in a while about anything in regards to that.
I haven't liked anything a man has done in a while, so... You don't start.
All right, I'm trying to see if I can find this video. So basically, we was in a space and a dude came on stage and was like, "Yo, I tried to get Marc fired from Morehouse because he was on some bullshit or whatever." And so, unbeknownst to him, Marc appears into the room and comes on stage.
Marc was watching anonymously.
Marc was on. Yeah, Marc was in the Anons.
Yeah, because he said all of them be doing that though.
Oh, they can't help but stop the Anons, man. They love the Anons.
Takes on Southern hip hop are horrible, and I think you need to be from the South to speak on the South. And if you don't know the culture in the South, you can't sit up here and tell me you're from New Jersey or wherever you're from, talking about what I do down South. You don't know why I rock my gold teeth. You don't know why I keep my gold chains. You don't know why my cutlass sitting on 24s. You don't know none of that. You don't.
Wait. Can you tell me what did you write in the letter? What was?
No. I spoke to a board member. What's she talking about?
Oh, okay.
No, I didn't write anything. I went directly to the source, to the people who had the power to be like, "Yo, let me tell you what old boy doing on this platform."
Okay.
You talking about
Like,
the JVP?
So you snitch.
Not snitch. No, just made aware.
You a
just made
snitch
aware.
ass, bitch ass, pussy ass nigga. Can you get me fired now, bitch?
Bro, you wow. Who is that?
That's all you had to say? You
wow. He didn't know it was Marc.
Really?
Yeah.
I doubt it.
Okay. What I did that was disingenuous.
Wait, Marc,
that's his voice.
No, that's Marc Lamont, sir.
What I did that's disingenuous.
Oh, there he is. Like he's a listener. He's a listener.
No, that's Marc Lamont.
What's up? What? Explain yourself since you said it. What I did?
Yeah.
You can't. You talked all that shit. Now you got.
Now he real quiet.
What I did? Just tell me.
Oh no. Okay, so I don't remember.
You don't remember now?
What year it was?
You don't matter what year it is. What did I do?
I think you said something slick.
You think I said something slick? You called the board of trustees on the nigga and you don't know what I said?
No,
it was so bad you called the board of trustees to get me fired and you don't know what I said?
No, I know what you said.
What I said?
In this document, I probably got
what I say?
of it.
Probably.
I don't remember, dude. It was years ago. But you said it.
It was so bad that you called the board of trustees. You don't remember?
Sir, do you still have any clout there?
I don't work there, dickhead.
Exactly. So do you? So who?
I quit.
Offline, we could talk about that person.
Ooh,
I quit.
He look like a
I went to a better university. What are you talking about?
Sick. You wow. Come on, bro. That's what I'm talking about there. That's you graduate from Morehouse?
No, I transferred after my parents got sick. Why?
Oh, that's wild.
I also was on the dean's list when I left. What that got to do with anything?
You couldn't cross, so you couldn't become a man.
What does that have to do with you trying to get him fired?
So he understands what I'm saying. If you don't understand what I'm saying, he understands what I'm saying.
I don't know what you're talking about. I know I was enough for them to bring me back as the first distinguished professor in the history of the college.
Sir, but you didn't represent well, is what I'm saying to you.
What did I say that caused you to call the board? And how about this? They didn't fire me.
Political views are very.
So how much clout do you got? How much clout do you got if you couldn't get me fired?
Well, that wasn't the point. That wasn't.
What was the point?
The point was to make it known that you wild on social media.
Who are you?
You don't know me.
Nobody does.
No, nobody does. I'm an ordinary.
So I felt like After like,
oh my God, that was the perfect time for him to come in.
Yeah, he really just jumped on bro. But no, I feel like Marc watched our video and he kind of maybe took to heart what we were talking about, where it's like, bro, call these niggas names.
Yes.
Berate niggas. Make niggas feel small. It's sometimes it's important to do.
Because after that flat earth, the initial episode, he started going in on niggas.
It needs to be done though. Because this anti-intellectual culture that has been seeping into black culture needs to be quenched. We need to get rid of it.
You can't just say things because they make sense to you. Niggas, you have to be called stupid.
It's necessary. Like, as you said last time, like anytime someone has a conversation with them afterwards and it's in that vein of like anti-intellectual talk or misinformation, they should feel small afterwards. Yeah. They should feel bad about themselves. And he did a good job the night before, well, a few nights before, because there was guys who were bringing up BS claims. One about his Malcolm X article where he was asking what if Malcolm was gay, and then this other situation that he had talked about when this fallen thought leader had passed, and he had said basically, well, he had retweeted a post that implied that, you know, folks have to pass on so that certain ideas no longer grow and have legs.
Yep.
And so that's what
I agree with that.
So that's what I'm saying, where it was like, that's what
niggas gotta die with they ignorant ass views. I'm waiting for a whole generation of white men to die right now.
And so that was kind of in line with that talking point was about. And then people were trying to say like, he said that and all this other stuff. And it was just so much misinformation. And to see the way that he handled it, where he broke everything down, he didn't allow clowns to define things that were not correct. It was just great. I couldn't be mad. They was all like, oh, absurd, you riding for my own. He was right. I'm objective. And if you're not up to snuff, I'm gonna call it out. And he just continues to be so. But don't be complimenting men though, man.
He's back.
Just had to make sure, because you over here trying. Don't be complimenting men, yo.
I was just saying that it's interesting, and I think it's because of the fact that you also think he's smart. So
I mean, it's just I haven't even been in that mind just to think of to say that. That's all. I just wasn't in that.
Because he hates me now.
Oh, here we go. It's because you keep trying to quell my passions.
Because he hates me now. So now he wants me to go like other men. So he can go find his Bronte.
My Bronte. All right. So I was scrolling through the phone, and I seen this clip, and it was very troubling. So the caption on it says, "I knew my husband was a simp when he accepted the fact I had 3 kids." And then it kind of goes on to say this.
A lot if we really feeling you. It's the ones we don't like. We make them do it all.
So you ain't like your husband.
She's drinking some wine.
I ain't trying to embarrass my husband even more on the internet, but he was a simp and I seen the opportunity and I.
Husband, like current?
That was she saying, her current husband, yeah. She was calling him a simp for.
She said he was. Is he not anymore, or is he not her? I hope he's not her husband anymore, because this bitch is stupid.
That's crazy to me, but like, it does come to that where you kind of ask yourself when you're in a situation like that. Because again, I'm not against people who, date girls with kids. I got friends that do it. So like, anything I'm about to say now is not directed at anybody. It's not viewed at anything. It's just, I'm just thinking about what she's saying, and then I'm putting it into just my perspective of it. It does. You do have to ask a question when you're with a girl that has multiple kids. Is she with you because she got the baggage, or does she really like you? Because there's a lot of girls who they may be a 8 or a 7, but they got 2 or 3 kids, and now they got to start shooting at guys that's maybe not their type.
Unfortunately, it lowers your stock a little bit.
I mean, it's definitely going to do that.
Take care of kids that aren't theirs.
And then you also your time is being needed in other places and stuff like that. So you're going to kind of want to get a helping hand. But I've seen where this conversation has gone around where it's like, there's dudes who are with girls or with particular women, and the only reason you with them is because they got the baggage.
I just think that like, it's just so unfortunate that she got on this platform and said this because like I feel like if you're an attractive woman at some point, let's take the kids and everything out of the situation. If you're an attractive woman at some point, like there was a guy who was like falling at your feet that you 100% could have taken advantage of. Multiple probably, right? It's whether you want to do that or not. Like for me, it would like for maybe like a date or two, maybe get a free meal or two. But then after that, like how long can you be around this person that you genuinely don't enjoy being around? Like how long can you do that? I can't do that. I can't fake it. So I feel like it's so odd to me that women do this and you think he's a simp and you think you can just get something out of it, but then you don't actually like this man. Are you not miserable, low key? Like,
I mean, but this is like something that's been going on in evolution for years. Like you see this in animals where they'll get, knocked up by the alpha who's dominating the prairie or the plain or whatever, but they'll be around the betas that'll take care of the kids and make sure nobody, beats up the babies and all that other stuff. Because
it's just a survival instinct then for a woman.
It's 100%
for women.
I was gonna say we can bring it up.
I was gonna take us off the topic. You continue.
Oh no, I was gonna say that I remember I was watching National Geographic and it was this lioness who had a cub. And what she had did was she slept. It was two main alpha lions, one on the east and one on the west. She slept with both of them, but one was the dad and one was the son. So when she had the cub, the dad and the son thought that was both their baby because it smelled similar. So she was able to walk over the whole entire plain area because the two ones who were protecting her were both thought that was their kid.
Yeah, period.
So that's what I'm saying. Like stuff like that has been part of evolution for years, and there is something that you could say that women search for a more docile man when they have children so that they can have someone who's going to help them in that process.
Someone with a more like fatherly,
docile. Someone who's going to be around. Someone who's not a high risk taker. Someone who's not going to put them or themselves in a vulnerable position.
Yeah.
So somebody like of that ilk.
That makes sense.
So I mean, like
I'm not going to disagree with that.
It's evolutionary when you think about it. Like even,
but if you don't have kids, then you're just fucked up. Like, if you don't have kids, then I don't know how you're doing that. Like, it's just not something that I'm able to do.
But I'm saying that's more often than not is the case though, is that they'll find somebody who doesn't have kids, and generally
as the woman.
Oh, as a woman. Oh, well.
Yeah,
I mean,
if you're a woman who doesn't have kids and you dating the simp just to get something out of it, then you're just a horrible person. Like, how are you doing that? I don't know how you're doing that.
You might be a little horrible using the kids too, though. You're a little horrible.
You're not horrible. You're trying to get your kids a better, more stable life. That's not horrible in like foundation.
But if you doing what you just said, if it's under for nefarious reasons, it's not for.
I think if you're not doing it for your children and you're doing it just so that like you can get like some bags and some food, then yeah, it's a little bit fucked up.
I still think it's messed up using the kids. Like if you don't genuinely like to do, I think that's messed up too.
I think you got to do what you got to do for your babies.
I mean, they got the government.
And then if you can get a little bit on top of that so your babies can get a little bit more, then go ahead. Like, what?
I mean, I ain't mad at that. I just, like, I even kind of just see in my, like, dating life, like, I was never really attracted if a girl already had a kid. Like, it was never something I wanted to continue to pursue. I don't know if that's, like, the alpha thing where the animal would come in, like if the woman had another baby to make her go in the heat.
You got enough on your own. You don't need nobody who already had kids, and then y'all gotta have kids together. It's gonna be a fucking basketball team full of fucking kids.
That's what
like, that was just smart on your part mathematically.
That's just the play that most people do. They like, oh, if I got them, then you got them. We just do the Brady Bunch.
Yeah, no.
See, because I don't like the way that she did, because like that's like calling my dad a simp. My dad not a simp. Because my mom had 2 kids, and then he got with her, and then had me. My dad not a simp for that. According to her, she would say that.
She would.
So I don't like that. My pops wasn't no simp.
Your dad does have very safe energy, though.
You trying to call my dad docile?
He's not docile, but he's extremely level-headed and calm.
No, see, but it's because when my mom met him, that's after all the years of him having those risk taker and all that other stuff for 2 decades, like for that. So there's a lot going on there. Don't be trying to play my pops.
I'm just saying the pops I know now is very like even keel.
Yeah, but he was a risk taker back in his day, man. He used to smoke cigarettes.
I mean, the man lost a finger. Obviously, he was taking risks at one point.
That didn't happen when he was an old man.
See, Okay. I'm trying to give him some points.
Well into his old age. All right. I wanted to talk about this Superman movie that's coming out. So y'all know I'm a big DC Marvel fan. I'm actually going to see Thunderbolts. I'm not taking you to go see Thunderbolts. I'm going with my nephew now. Just him.
Wow.
And he gonna skip school on Friday. And we gonna go watch the movie.
I'm gonna go see it before you.
How?
Cause I work by a movie theater.
So you're just not gonna come home?
I'm just not gonna come home. And then I'm gonna come home and I'm gonna ruin it for you before you go see it.
Have you bring this up? So it's basically talking about James Gunn. So James Gunn is the person who is basically like head control of DC Comics.
Yep.
He used to be with Disney and Marvel, where he was the director of the Guardian of the Galaxy films.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not familiar, and this is going to actually be relevant to this point, if you're not familiar with his past and his history with that, he was fired from Disney. And what he was fired from was he had these crazy, like what they called at the time, edgelord tweets, where they were making light of things like sexual assault, pedophilia, just overall like gross behavior. They would make light of it and make jokes into it. And this was something he had already came out about and talked about. Had already apologized for it, but because there was a hit job trying to smear his name, he was then removed from Disney. The cast worked together and said they weren't going to film another Guardians of the Galaxy movie without him. They brought him back. He gets to write for his characters in Endgame, finish up the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, and now he is essentially the Kevin Feige of DC. So there's been this leak that's been coming out about the movie because everybody's kind of expecting it. Screenings of the movie has been coming out. I even saw an article that was talking about how there's been the rumors about the way that DC wants to continue moving the film and promoting the film. Instead of it being like James Gunn and Superman, they just want to promote it as just Superman, the James Gunn movie. Because as you realize, we watched Creature Commandos. He's kind of going full, like, I'm everything in this. I'm the god of this universe.
Yeah.
You know, he's kind of been taking advantage of that in a way. So this is what a YouTuber who was talking about this revealed. He got a note from somebody, a text message from somebody, and he posted and said this. Bruh, WTF, James Gunn's revenge on the internet. A bizarre and rumored plot for James Gunn's Superman has surfaced online, which claims the Man of Steel gets dragged into the world of cancel culture. In the leak, it is claimed that James Gunn set up Superman to be battered by social media hate, which apparently makes the Man of Steel feel sad.
Oh, my God.
No, we're not joking. It'll further claim that James Gunn used a super shit hashtag in the movie, which trends and damages Superman's image. What's the real twist? Lex Luthor is behind it all, using an army of mutant monkeys at keyboards to flood and troll the internet and tear Superman down.
That's a terrible plot. I don't want to see that movie. Change it right now. I am tired of you white men bringing your personal vendettas into these movies to make a point. The same shit happened with Joker, no? Mm-hmm. They made it a secret musical, and then the whole public, us as an audience, we did not know until, like...
They told us. They told us early.
They told us early? Okay, my bad. I didn't know, but, like... Who wanted it to be a fucking musical? Y'all need to, like, stop. Maybe take, like, a scene or two. Maybe there's a character in the movie. But don't make the whole overarching theme of the movie this thing that everyone has loved for so many decades, your personal vendetta. That's just selfish. And you shouldn't have the power to tell this story if you're going to be so selfish with it.
I will say with the Joker one, the only reason I disagree slightly is because if I make a piece of art and for whatever particular reason it resonates with a group of people who have ideals or ideologies that I don't agree with, then, and I see that my art being pushed as a moniker for that and something I don't believe in, I can then see where I'm going to go in and purposely taint this character so that you can't use that in your crusades moving forward.
Oh, is that why they were doing that?
Yeah, that was a large part of what was going on.
I take that back then, 100%. I didn't know that.
There was a certain group of men who identified with the Joker concept.
The incels.
Yeah, and they were using that as a way of championing who they are instead of what the movie was trying to do was shame it. And that's why they kind of did that overcorrection in the Joker 2 movie. But people took like, oh, you're trying to go at the white man for this. It's like, nah, it's like, bro, y'all co-opted my shit and I didn't like it. Plus, he didn't even want to do a sequel. Like, he was open
that
about
didn't
that.
seem like a movie that needed a sequel.
Yeah, he didn't want to do a sequel. He only did it because they offered him so much money to do it.
Yeah.
But I do feel you in that way where it's like, there's a way to do it. And if you're like really on the nose and it's not like endearing or it doesn't have a heart-wrenching feeling, I feel like that's where you fall flat on this, trying to use art to reflect your life and paint you as this champion and hero.
Do you think that you're able to use art to reflect your life when the art is like public domain? Like not public domain, but when the art is
for public consumption?
Like Marvel, DC, when it's already a storyline, when there's already like comic books that are laying out the timeline. When you're making the story yourself and this is something you wrote and this is something that you have creative license to change around, sure. But when it comes to something like a Superman, a Batman, like I don't think you're able to take as much creative license with that because there is a box that you kind of have to stay within.
Oh, there's rules. Like Zack Snyder, he had rules and limitations that he couldn't do because he wanted to make Batman get Lois Lane pregnant and then have Superman raise the kid. Like that was his plan for it. But they was like, no, you can't do that. Like, so there are people who try and make attempts to create crazy
blasphemous.
Stories. But I mean, like I said, I don't think you should have to stay within certain rules. I think it has to be within the spirit of the character. And I don't feel like Superman being negatively affected by social media would be the spirit of his character per se.
Why?
Because he was in media. You know what I'm saying? He was kind of an anchor of expose. Like his thing was like, he's a journalist in real life because that allows him to go to different parts of the world and expose it. So he's like a part of the media. So to say social media turned on him because the media was reflective of him himself. Like he was part of the media. Lois Lane was the media and they were always flaunting over him because he was saving the day. So for it to be social media,
but don't you think that like maybe they do a thing of like in the newspaper days when Lois and the newspapers had more power than Superman had this type of like optic, but now during the age of social media when there are trolls all over the place and stuff, like you have less control over it. So now he's getting less positive media attention and it does affect him negatively because the people that he's protecting like used to appreciate him and now they don't.
But that was always the Superman thing.
Hasn't that been a like
that's been discussed in Superman
before.
Like
a different multiverse thing, like when people turn on Superman.
No, they've done that in regular Superman too, where they've talked about that. But I would say the way that they're doing it with like the whole super shit and them more like trolling him and ridiculing him doesn't seem in line with the Superman character himself in that regard. Like I don't feel like if they were going to be doing something, it would be for a more understandable reason. Like to me, it just sounds like they're just doing shit trolls at him and that's hurting Superman's feelings rather than it being like there's real conflict on what your existence is and what that means, and we have to discuss that. And that's what they did in the Man of Steel and in those movies. Like
that's happened before. Yeah, that's people have.
Remember in the Batman v Superman movie, he had to go to court because of what he did in the Middle East.
Yeah, and so, there's with every DC Marvel, with all of the series and franchises, that's the word I was looking for. There's always at least one movie that's like, oh, the super people are fucking our city up. Actually, they're destroying property unnecessarily.
And then the reason why I say like social media versus the media had in his stories had a little bit more legitimacy to it because it's not just random people just espousing whatever idea they want to come off as Superman. Like, I just can't imagine a world where this guy is flying around actively saving people on the ground and that turns into this hate towards him.
Yeah, it couldn't.
Unless he did, like, unless you create something where it's reasonable.
Unless he's killing 2 people on his way to save the one.
Or something like that. Like, or purposely trying to endanger people. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, that story is going to have to really have a lot of legs to it for me. So we'll see what it goes on. So we'll see. I'm definitely gonna be in the theater. So
yeah, he's definitely gonna have to add a lot of context, a lot of nuance to it to make it interesting. I hope it's not. I hope the whole movie isn't. The theme isn't his vendetta. Like that would suck so much.
Yeah, I wouldn't like that. I wouldn't like that. So All right, let's see what else we got to discuss. I'm trying to see if there's anything else. I do want to discuss one other thing before we go in regards to Trump's pardons that he's been going on. I know I haven't really gone into detail here in our sections in regards to the pardons that he's been doing. A lot of them have been insane. Mm-hmm. I just want to just cover this one lady who's been most recent. I'll probably go through like every so often. I'll just bring up one because it's going to happen more and more. Yeah. Then we talk about one where he paid the dude a bunch of money because of his lawyer. I don't know if we went into that one or not. Where his lawyer was related to like Pam Bondi, the DOJ, and he was able to pay his way out for a pardon.
I don't remember, but what happened now?
Okay, so Trump pardons disgraced politician who used money raised for slain police officers to pay for plastic surgery.
Oh my God.
He pardons this lady. So I want to go to the article. This is from the Mediate. And I just think this is
for slain police officers?
Yeah, she took a slain police officer's charity and did plastic surgery.
That's not even, come on now.
So her name is Michelle
this man
Flory.
Is just doing things for evil.
She was convicted in October of last year for 6 counts of wire fraud, 1 count of conspiracy wire fraud. The federal jury found her that she solicited donations, she said, that would go towards a memorial statue honoring a slain Las Vegas police officer and used the funds, among other things, for plastic surgery.
What type of plastic surgery? Does it say? Did she get a BBL? Did she get her titties done? Did she get lipo? I need to know.
It says she also used the donations to fund her basic living expenses and to fund her daughter's wedding.
I need to know what type of surgery she got.
I don't think they're telling us.
Very important to me.
I feel like it is, though.
Damn it.
I'm looking through right now. I don't think they mentioned what kind of surgery. I would assume this is an older white lady, probably top surgery. She probably had to get her boobs right.
She probably got like a facelift, actually. Not even the boobs. She probably got a facelift. That's a white woman surgery because they skin be saggy. Yep, she got a facelift. She might have got the boobs done, but she definitely got a facelift.
I just think that's crazy.
Because they age like milk.
But like that's what I mean, where it's like, do y'all not see the inconsistency? This is the party that says they love the police. They support the police. Until there's money being exchanged.
Okay, did you hear that black man, that black police officer that shot somebody 17 times and then his qualified immunity got disqualified?
So he got
because he black.
So he got to pay the money out of his pocket.
Yeah,
that's crazy. What state did that happen in?
I have to look it up. I was at work when I saw it, so I couldn't.
I worked with this girl who her father was a sheriff out here, and he shot somebody, and which arguably would have been like, some people would have considered that self-defense. He had to do time. He was a black sheriff out here.
Yeah. If you black and you are behaving the same way that these white cops are behaving, you're going to jail, nigger, because you're still black. And that's what y'all fail to understand, but that's not what we get into right now.
All right, we got one more thing we got to talk about.
Oh my God.
We got to.
Fuck.
And then we done.
Okay.
You the one who had 25 bathroom breaks.
I had 2.
That's 25. 12 and a half each. So Michelle Obama, what's up with your girl? I just see a lot of things just being very problematic at this point. And it's disappointing to me for a very particular reason. So, she's doing the podcast. She had Tracee Ellis Ross on there. She had Taraji P. Henson. And when she had Taraji on there, she tried her best to like make this sound like it was like presentable. But she talked about how she loved love and hip hop. And again, I understand that's y'all weakness. Y'all love that shit. But come on now. Like, we can't have
what is your opinion?
Our best and brightest black woman can't be on her podcast talking about I love unscripted television, but then referencing Scrappy and Mama D.
Are black women a monolith to you?
No, but she's a leader of them.
She said that we all know a Mama D. Do we not all know a Mama D?
But she said she loves the content.
She can love the content. She can literally take her intellectual, presidential first lady hat off once in a while and just watch.
You can. Don't tell the world
some ghetto debauchery. And then since you're not the first lady anymore, you can be like, hey, you know what I used to do in the White House? I used to have love of hip hop blasting through these hoes. That
shit's not fly, yo.
I'm tickled. I'm actually tickled with this news. Like, it just makes her seem like more of a human being. She seemed like a black, ethereal, professional angel floating up above.
What's wrong with that? Like
you can be that, but and I loved her being that also, but now she's a black ethereal angel floating up above that also watches the same nonsense I watch. Like,
man, we putting this.
I
into
like
perspective.
that a lot. And then I thought you were gonna take a completely.
No, we're about to put this in perspective because she is destroying Obama's legacy. She's destroying the Obama name. Barack is going out bad. Because this isn't just the only thing she's been talking about. She's talking about
Barack fucking white woman is not destroying.
We don't have that.
His
We don't have
legacy.
that. We don't have anything that's proven that.
Okay, but the rumor has been floating around for about the past couple months now.
I'm talking about what she said.
The rumor is enough.
I'm talking about what she said.
For me.
We can talk about it numerous times when she's talked about the challenges.
Whisperings of a white woman. And I'm...
but she's out here making my man look bad, though. Because she's been out here discussing some of the intricacies of their marriage, discussing why she hasn't been attending certain things that he's been seen at alone, making him look crazy. Like, I understand everybody should have the ability to choose, do the things they want, if they don't have to be this example 24/7, but you do. She was the first lady. She has to live that. That don't stop. So outside of her podcast, she still has Secret Service.
That's
okay.
Just...
Then so you still a part of this, regardless. You, your family, y'all all got Secret Service. Y'all are all a part of this. I'm sorry that you, being the first black first lady, I'm going to hold you to a higher standard. I don't want you talking about your husband in a way that makes him look small, that makes him look mortal. You shouldn't be doing that. Other people should do it. There's a whole network dedicated to making Obama look small.
How does her talking about what the content that she enjoys watching make Obama look smaller?
He was the leader of the free world. This is the truth, though. He is the leader of the free world.
You can't do any. And then this is what she wrote about her in her book. She wrote about her having to put herself to the side, put her goals to the side, put her needs to the side, because her husband was like
the president of the United States.
Her husband was this like grand character, regardless of the fact that he was the president of the United States. He was a black man that was this grand character that was so important. So she decided to just play her role. And she said that she was miserable in that. Like their marriage almost ended because of that time. But it didn't, and they stuck through it. And now they're here. And now she's in a position where she has a little bit more freedom than she did when he was in office for 8 fucking years, which is a long time, almost a decade of you just playing this like position very well, by the way. Like when she was first lady, there were rarely any times where you could say that she embarrassed him, where she did this and that or blah, blah, blah. She played her role well for almost a decade. And she's still a human being that had her own desires, had her own goals, had her own things that she enjoys. And now they're signing Netflix deals left and right and doing podcasts. And obviously this is now a time where they're going to be able to share more of themselves and share more of the time that they had in the White House. And they can kind of let us in a little bit with like more of a personal, like a little bit more like of what they were doing. And I like that. And I don't think she's ruining his reputation. And when does she get the time to just be Michelle Obama and not be Obama's wife? Like, I think that's extremely unfair, especially since there's no instance that you can point to when he was in office where you could say that she embarrassed him like this. Like, she's still a human being on her own. That's fucking weird as fuck that you have that state of mind to me. I don't know.
I will say this. Do you know a woman named Hillary Clinton? Do you know what her husband did in the office?
Yeah,
he got his dick sucked in the Oval Office. Do you know she never brought his name into any kind of bad smut? I was reading multiple articles about the stuff that she was saying about Bill Clinton in light of that afterwards in regards to that. And it was always a we. It was always a us. It was never putting her above them and their family. Her husband publicly cheated on her. And she is still married to him, doing the same. They're moving in forward, lock and step, just like the Obamas are. she could survive that. She could go through that. And you can't hold it down for a nigga who ain't doing none of that. You can't say for something in your life to understand, hey, I have aspirations, I have dreams. And you know what? They're valid and they're important. But you know what? Something else is just a tad bit more important. It has more historical reverence. And even if it is my entire existence being devoted to that, it is something worth doing that to. There's not no nigga just picking up shifts on the street. There's not no nigga doing on no bullshit timing. This is the president of the United States. Not only that, the first black president. He deserves that. He deserves you to be able to, okay, I'm going to take myself down. And that's the problem that we have is like, there's nothing we can do from our side in regards to that. And I'm talking about in black culture that I can see a woman saying, I'm okay accepting this lesser role and then being encouraged by her peers or the people who are similar to her. It is only us who, when our men are successful, we have to find a way to make it about us too. We got to be something too. Why can't you be a part of him? What is wrong being attached to that light?
Well, that's because she was already something before she met him. She was literally his boss when he came to her law firm.
And I'm glad that's the important thing.
And then also, I don't think any human should have to dedicate their entire existence to another human's purpose, regardless of what that purpose is. Like, regardless of the fact that it's selfish or like you don't think it's a good idea. I don't think any person, regardless of race, gender, whatever, should ever need to put their wants, needs, desires, whatever on the back burner for their entire life.
Yeah. If the nigga's a judge or he's a fucking...
No, did you not hear me?
Yes,
did you not hear me? I don't think anybody for any reason should ever need to do this. They should always have the choice to back them up or not. Whether you can back them up, and then if you don't, I'm completely okay. I'm completely okay with both sides of the coin.
No, I hear what you're saying. I'm saying this is the exception to that. His situation. And then another point I like that you brought up too was the fact that you said that she was his boss beforehand. I remember talking to somebody a long time ago and we were having this discussion about, she was saying, oh, you find the guy and then you'll work with them. He'll, boss up or whatever and then switch up on you or whatever because, now he's in a different position. And I asked her a question. I said, were you still when this man bossed up and switched up on you, were you treating him the same way you did when you met him? Or when his maturation, when he grew and became something different, did your actions change with it? And she was like, no, I was still treating him the same way. So I'm like, that's the problem.
I think that's a completely different conversation that you're having. I only brought that up because you said that, I forget what you said, but like,
I was just saying that what he's doing is enough to humble yourself.
Yeah. But like, I was bringing up that like she had her own life. She chose to put her own successes and everything on the back burner. She could have fully had like all of the money and all that on her own without, she already did the selfless thing for God knows how long. That's why I brought that up. I brought that up to say, how long do you need to do that? I don't think you need to do. I think it's unfair to ask somebody to do that for their entire life.
If you look at the past presidents from Biden back, them ladies maintained to the end. And very rarely have you seen them go on any public displays that have made their marriage, shine a light on their marriage that was not the brightest. And it's disheartening just for me as a black man to see that, because this pattern of behavior to elite black guys always seems like, oh, let me find a way to make my light shine just as bright. Finish me. Let my light shine as bright as his or just as bright. Or the idea that I can't second myself from someone who is showing greatness at a high level. That for some reason makes me less than, because I can acknowledge something and play my part and role in it. And it seems, again, continually that it's always framed in this way. And I feel like it's a psyop, honestly.
I feel like there's probably been other like first ladies who've complained in the past, but we don't give a fuck because they weren't black. Like I specifically was not paying attention to like what Laura Bush was saying because I was young, and then I also didn't give a fuck what Laura Bush was saying.
But you can go look at all their books. They only speak about their marriage highly. They'll talk about rocky
You've
times.
read all of the books?
I was looking up a lot of stuff about this because I was trying to see, is there anybody else who have said anything close to what she's been saying?
Not one other
Now,
first lady.
I'm not saying that don't exist. I say I didn't find it.
Disparaging. That's what I'm saying.
That's like, I didn't find
we
it.
might not know that it exists, but it probably does because there have been.
I feel like that'd be easy.
There's
to find.
been so many presidents and so many first ladies. And there's been somebody who's complained at one point or another. Like, it's just, we're going to agree to disagree on this.
No, I feel you.
Just because, like, it's such a heavy weight on your shoulders to burden in general. Like, the white women don't have to carry it as heavily because they're not the first white woman to be the first lady.
Hey man, heavy is the head that wears the crown, unfortunately.
Yeah, so it's heavier, and you agree.
I say heavy is the head that wears the crown, but you still got to wear it. But I think that was a good conversation.
Yeah.
All right, was anything else you wanted to touch on? What? Don't do that. The fans don't like that. They like that we here.
There's nothing that I want to touch on, guys. It's late, and I want to get to bed.
All right, so life is a labor of love. So let's keep building these moments together. And remember, your job is not your family. And the only thing you should be exploiting is these corporations. Tell them what to do.
Follow us on all of the social media at talk.fnf.tv on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. If you're currently watching on YouTube, give us a like, comment, subscribe. And if you're listening on any of the streaming services, please hit the download button. We appreciate you. Love you. Bye.
Good job, baby.
Yeah, that was good.